Hey everyone, this is my final etude instead of etudes that I've made for Django in June. This week's lesson is going to be on the most common standard minor swing. The song is called At Every Jam in every country in the world, so it's really good to learn a set of licks and a way to look and see this song, look at and see this song from a different perspective, because you're going to play it a million times. That's the reality of it. So it's going to be the same format as my other videos. I'm going to play the whole etude all the way through. Then I'm going to go back and kind of play it lick by lick or idea by idea and give a brief explanation as to what I was thinking and how you can use that in other places, like how applicable it is. So hopefully this offers you a new perspective or outlook on these changes and kind of gives you new tools to play over minor swing, or actually other songs that have minor and dominant chords, which in gypsy jazz are pretty much every song. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start playing the etude all the way through. And minor swing in A minor. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the whole etude. So I played it pretty slow, and it's great to try and learn it by ear. It just because you also practice your hearing skills, and or you can do it visually, which is also a better way to do it than reading tabs. But if you have to use the tabs, don't worry about it. So anyways, so let me go with the first idea. So over A minor, I played a kind of Latin rhythm riff that Borelli uses a lot, and now because of that, everyone in the genre uses that same idea. So we have, so I play that idea over the coming chords, but little variations of it. But anyways, essentially this is it. First, let me just play it. So that's the general idea. Now let me break it down. So we have a A minor chord. I have my ring finger here on A, on the 7th fret of the D string, right here on the A. Okay, and then I have a bar on the 5th fret to make it just a typical common A minor chord. So the picking down is that typical minor cliche. So here we go. So now when the next chord is D minor, same thing. But now I do this instead. I go. Okay, because I wanted to show you a new chord that you can play all the time. It's the minor 6/9 chord. So we have this. Here's a D minor, for example. And if you take your pinky and you stretch it out, and you put it 2 frets above the D. So here's the D, 2 frets. Put your pinky there. And you have the 9, so it sounds like this. Instead of just this, you have this. So, or you don't have to play the root. You can just go. It's very common in gypsy jazz, this voicing. Okay, so for the A and the D minor. That's the rhythm, and now the E7 is next, and you can substitute a B minor over the E7. If you see, here's an example of B minor 6, and now here's an E7. It's the same chord, essentially. There are a few different notes, but a lot of times when people play it in gypsy jazz, it's essentially the same chord with the same notes. So just like in minor swing, how you can go. looks as if I'm playing a B minor 6, but I'm really playing an E7 in the context of the song. So I just moved that same pattern and I fit it to a B minor. So here I'm starting on A, then I'm starting on D for the knee chord, and then when I get to this E7, I start on the B. So it goes. So again, so far. Okay, back to the A minor chord. Okay, so that's that. Now, going into this there's a D minor chord coming up next. So going into that, I precede it with an A7 lick. It's a simple A7 triad, just a very simple arpeggio, but it's nice to do that coming into another chord, because I could not do an A7 and just go straight to a D, but if I play an A7, it really leads into the D really nicely, okay? So, I do this, okay, then right before the D chord, I precede it with an A7 triad, which is okay, A7 arpeggio really, okay? That's the 7. It's that cowboy shape, so. Okay, so that's just proceeding it into the D chord. Now I'm in the D minor chord, okay? So here's my idea for this. So slowly, starting on D. So we've all learned about those kind of ideas in gypsy jazz, and Django used it a lot, where he would take a simple triad or chord tones and just, precede them by a half tone up or below or higher. So that's all it is. And it has like a very classical sound to it. So I kept the same idea, the same motif, and I apply it to the oncoming A minor chord. So for the D, starting from the D, now I go up to the A minor, and that's this shape. I'm playing this shape basically, the just that the most simple, basic, straightforward A minor shape. So same idea. But it's a really good way to give a nice feel and a classical sound to some of your improv. And it's something that Borelli does all the time. And it shows how much you can do with just very simple triads. If you play them with the right timing, and there's a lot you can do essentially with just very little. And Borelli does that all the time when he plays straight arpeggios or ideas like this. Okay? So anyways, now, for an E7 pattern, I start on the G sharp, so right before the E, so we have the A, like a harmonic minor, so here's the pattern. Okay, of course, here it is, like a diminished kind of thing. Very typical diminished pattern. And then just a walk down of the scale into A. So it's kind of like a sequence. So starting it over, and then just finishing the triad down to A. So essentially, that's essentially the idea behind it. So that whole section together. So now we're at essentially the second part, minor swing. So now I'm using chord shapes. It's like a very West Montgomery chord block idea. So here we go. That's an A minor triad. Then we're going to go up diminished. I'm assuming all of you have seen this shape before. Okay, this is the diminished shape. It's the same shape when you do this that we've learned in previous etudes. So I'm just essentially walking up the A minor scale, but I'm harmonizing it while I go with very simple block chords. Something that Wes Montgomery did all the time, and it's very common in gypsy jazz. So first let me just play the first part. So that's for the A minor. So we have this A minor, diminished, then A minor again, but with the third on the top. So that's an A minor chord that you can play. Okay, so just learn it by that. So starting on A, and the high note being C. So okay, and now that the oncoming chord is D minor, again, like I did before, I'm going to precede it, but this time with a diminished chord. Okay, because I could just go, but it sounds better if I go, because it really leads into the D minor nicely. So now I'm going to do the same pattern, but in D minor. So okay, but this time I'm just going to keep going up the pattern instead of changing it to a diminished chord. I'm going to keep going up the D minor. So you think of it. That's the D minor chord. The 5, the A is on the top of the chord. So okay, so that's a good thing to learn because I'm showing you a pattern, but I'm showing you how you can then use it in a different area for different chords. Just changing it slightly. Sometimes not even changing it at all, but even if you just change a few notes here and there, you can use the same pattern in a different area, and there's still a sense of motion or progress. Okay, so it's really just a repeat of the same idea, but it doesn't really sound like that because it's going somewhere. So okay, now we have an E7 chord coming up, and I play a very simple harmonic minor idea. Harmonic minor is so commonly used in gypsy jazz, so it's really good to practice your harmonic minor patterns all over the neck. Before I've showed you some over here or in other places, but even up here it's good to know them too. So slowly. So starting on the A, so very basic A harmonic minor pattern. There's nothing out of the scale there. Now I add the 6 and the minor 6 chord that gives it that sound. So okay, so get this. To give it that sound. Okay. Now, with the D minor coming up, I have a little blues motif. It's great to add the blues in. Django did it all the time. Current modern players do it all the time in gypsy jazz also. So here we go. I'm starting on the D, on the root. So I do a little slide there, okay? So we have like that flat 5. That's very central in blues. So I'm playing around with that sound and that, that sound. Okay, so I have this motif, and then the A minor comes up, and I do the same thing in A minor. So even slower to make sure you catch that thing. So So I'm hitting on this note and then sliding down to the G, okay? So okay, so that's normal speed, slow speed. Okay, and then again. And now for the final E7 chord, I just do I hit the open E string and the 5th fret on the B string. It's a great lick, and it's a very guitar lick, and it has a great Django sound. And a lot of people maybe think it's too basic, but it's a great sounding lick. So, and then I end it just walking up the A melodic minor scale. So, up to A. And then I finish it with an E7 chord with a flat 9. So I hit, this is the chord, it's a great chord to know, and it sounds great at the end of a tune or when you're wrapping something up. It's a very powerful song that has a very powerful chord that has a very outside kind of sound to it. So, okay, so it looks like your regular E7 chord. Okay, like we've seen that. That same shape we've seen in 100 songs and chords, so we got this. But now I'm going to bar my index finger on the 6th fret. Okay? So I have 7, 6, 7, and then the 2 high strings, the 6th fret. So essentially, okay? Okay, so all together. There you go, and it goes back into A minor. Okay, that's what it sounds like. So, okay, that should be great. And if you guys have any questions, again, send me an email or send me a message on Facebook. And if you learn it, go ahead and send it to me on a message on Facebook or Gmail. I've gotten some videos of some of you who've done that, and it's super cool. And I'll see you at Django in June, and I'm going to have some time. That it's going to be a class dedicated to just going over these etudes. So any questions you guys have or anything you're curious about, save it, and I'll see you in a few days, and we'll go over it in class. Okay, this time I actually will see you guys very soon, in only a few days. Okay, thanks for watching, and have a good rest of the day.